Today, I want to break down exactly how we got a founder in the financial services space featured on a podcast episode that turned into over 200 high ticket clients. And I'm going to walk you through the two paths that any business owner really has if they want to do the same thing. So here's what happened. We work with a founder in financial services. We got him booked into one podcast episode, only one. And that single episode generated more than 200 high ticket clients for his company. And that's not from running ads. It's not from cold outreach. That's literally from one conversation on the right platform, of course, with the right systems, but most importantly, in front of the right audience. And that's really the whole point of this video, because podcasts, when you do them right, are one of the highest converting things a business owner can do right now. And today I'm going to show you why, and then I'll show you exactly how it works. So here's why this works so well. When someone hears you on a podcast, they're not seeing an ad. They're not being pitched. They're literally just listening to a real conversation between a host, someone they already trust, is vouching for you just by having you on. And that trust transfers by the time the episode is over. The audience doesn't feel like they were sold to, they feel like they got to know you. And that's a completely different starting point than anything you could get from a cold ad or a cold DM or posting random content on Instagram or YouTube. So the question isn't whether podcasts work, it's which path makes sense for you at this moment. So there are two ways, as I mentioned earlier, to go about this. Path number one, you build your own podcast. This means you control the questions, you bring a host on who asks you exactly the questions your audience is already asking somewhere else. Every episode is built around what your audience actually wants to hear. Now, path two, on the other hand, is when you get featured as a guest on someone else's podcast. And this means you borrow their audience. Of course, it has to be someone in your industry, in your niche, and you don't have to build or run a show. You just show up, deliver value, and let their platform do the work, because they've already gathered that audience and already established trust. And honestly, these aren't competing options. A lot of the founders start with path two, getting featured as a guest to prove the model works and figure out what resonates. Then once they know what's landing, what's not, they move into path one, which is where they build their own show around it. But of course, a lot of founders don't have the time to be doing all of this stuff around, and this is why a lot of people just hire us to take care of this. So what does getting you featured actually look like on our end? First of all, we figure out which podcast hosts and platforms are the right fit for you, your specific offer, your specific audience. And then we handle the outreach and the pitch. And this part matters because we're not just pitching you to these hosts, we're showing the host exactly how valuable you'll be for their audience. And that's how founders get books for podcasts. We take care of the coordination and communication with the host. And literally, we take care of the whole process from start to finish. You're only going to have to show up. Now, once the episode is done, we handle the post-production, clipping it into content you can actually use afterwards. And this is one of the most important parts, because that's how you actually get leads across platforms, not only from the host or the podcast, but also from your own platforms. But here's the thing. A lot of founders think, oh, my industry is too competitive for me to just do the same thing and go on a podcast. But I would actually push back on that, because competitive doesn't mean impossible. It usually means most people in your industry aren't doing this exactly the right way. And this is especially crucial in our time, where a lot of founders and business owners are just posting a lot of content on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Everyone is saying the same thing, taking selfie videos or taking talking head videos. Your audience is tired of watching the same content over and over. And this is why a podcast right now is one of the best opportunities out there. Now, I'm not saying you should stop posting your other content on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. No, you should keep doing this. But this is something else you can add on top of it that's actually working, that we've tried with many founders, many business owners. And it's literally one of the best ways that you can convince an audience of trusting you, because you're placed as the authority in that podcast and the host is listening to you and they're asking you questions. So indirectly, the audience, the viewers who are watching that content or that episode are going to trust you and want to work with you, especially if your solution, if your services are actually solving a problem. Now, if you want to see how we can get you featured, whether that's building your own podcast or getting you booked as a guest, you can book a call with me using the link in the description, and I will walk you through exactly how it would work for your business and your personal brand.